Hey guys, today we're talking about PayPal. I got two guest speakers with me today. Bam and Beans, my dog's here, taking them over to the pet hotel. Got to go to a wedding tonight. But I wanted to talk about PayPal today, and specifically I wanted to talk about why you should get yourself your own merchant account, either for your website, for eBay, either instead of PayPal or as a backup, because PayPal isn't a stable platform to run on. So first off, when I'm talking about a merchant processor is who processes your credit cards. Now, a lot of people think PayPal is a merchant processor. PayPal is not a merchant processor. PayPal is called a third-party aggregator. At the end of the day, for most people who don't know the ins and outs of this business, for all intents and purposes, PayPal might as well be a merchant processor because it lets you take credit cards. You have a virtual terminal. You can put buttons on your website. It's basically a real merchant processor, dumbed down, but also with some nice features. I know a lot of people out there like, PayPal sucks. I hate PayPal. PayPal's a ripoff. PayPal held my money. PayPal shut my store down and ruined my business. And I get all that. All that stuff has happened to me. I've been hit with 25% rolling reserves. I've had more than $150,000 tied up with PayPal for a period of 90 days before I got it back. PayPal has shut down my accounts, even though I have a stellar seller performance history. So I've run into all these problems with PayPal, but whether we're talking eBay, Amazon, Etsy, PayPal, you really don't want to be reliant on third parties for your business, because just do a Google search of Etsy shut down my store, Amazon shut down my store, eBay shut down my store, and essentially if you're reliant on a third party, they can shut you down on a whim for absolutely no reason. They do have, terms of service and policies that you have to follow and adhere to, and I can't really fault them for that. They need to protect themselves and what have you. But a lot of times they're more restrictive than a lot of merchant processors out there, and also depending on what category you sell in, you may need to seek out a certain type of merchant processor. So I know PayPal, for example, doesn't work with a lot of different categories. PayPal doesn't really like digital goods being sold. So if you're doing something like that, you can pretty much expect problems. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't use PayPal. Use it until you run into problems, but have something as a backup. Have a merchant processor to fall back on. I just recently got my merchant processor hooked up to eBay, and PayPal has no control over me anymore, and I know that's what a lot of you guys want. I don't have to deal with 21-day holds. I don't have any selling limits. I get batched out over the course of 2 or 3 days. So there's no 2-week hold like with Amazon. There's no 21-day hold like new PayPal accounts. There's no rolling reserve. I get my money all the time. I hate PayPal. Like a lot of you guys out there, I have a lot of complaints about them. I think they do a lot of unethical things. Essentially, their terms of service is basically written that if for any reason at any time they want to close your account, they can. If for any reason at any time they want to hold your money, they can. And they've actually gotten a little bit better about this. They've been hit with a couple of class action lawsuits, and I believe settled. I don't know exactly what the terms were, but they have lightened up on their holds a little bit. Like it was to the point where they would literally take, anywhere from hundreds to tens of thousands of dollars from people, and basically say we can hold this indefinitely, and would make you jump through all types of hoops to get your own money and stuff. And I'm not saying that merchant processors don't have problems either. Just do a Google search on merchant processors or read some merchant processor reviews, and you'll see that there's a lot of problems with them too. A lot of people hate First Data, even though they're probably the biggest and most known of the merchant processor companies. But I think they're better than PayPal. So for any of you guys who, if you lost your PayPal account, you're probably thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, my eBay business is over. Well, you got a couple fallbacks to go to. You can go to ProPay or you can go to Skrill. Personally, I hate both of them. They both suck. ProPay accepted me and then said they don't allow my category, and within about 30 minutes shut down my account. Actually, they didn't shut down my account. They said you can use our service, but you can't use our service to sell all the products you sell. Well, okay, let me start a whole new business for you guys. Skrill was a joke. It took me almost 2 months to get through all the Skrill approval processes. I specifically asked them if they would allow my category. They said yes. And after like 2 months of jumping through hoops and submitting forms and getting letters sent to me to then verify my address and everything else, I'm told that they won't take me. So, and Skrill is a joke. I think they're a UK company. They're not really set up to handle US customers. If you call their 800 number, they'll be like, we don't do anything with US customers. I'll give you a number to call. And they give you some number, it's like a New York or a Virginia number, and you call up and like some guy's picking up the cell phone like, hi, this is Jim or something, and you're like, what? You're like, is this Skrill? Oh yeah, this is Skrill. I guess the guy's like a sales rep for Skrill, or an account rep or something like that, and they basically pass everybody off to this guy to handle issues. Their website doesn't work. Skrill was formerly known as Money Bookers. They have like 2 different websites. If you want to use eBay, if you want to use Skrill for eBay, which Skrill's an approved eBay provider, you would think they would have the process kind of streamlined for people who don't want to use PayPal. But you have to use, their regular website doesn't work with eBay. You have to go to some website that they were using like 5 years ago that for all intents and purposes is inactive except for eBay. So you're doing everything through Skrill.com, but then when you want to do your eBay stuff, you have to go to like some moneybookers.skrill.com, like totally outdated website that doesn't really work for anything but activating the eBay part of it. It's just really complicated. ProPay wasn't too bad to set up, but again, they don't allow my category, and I wasn't super impressed with them either. I wound up getting a merchant account. I won't specifically mention the company, but I got a merchant account with this company. I then got a authorized.net account, which can then be hooked up to eBay. eBay, as far as merchant accounts, works with authorized.net, like Payroller or something like that, and a third one. Basically, there's 3 gateways that eBay will work with. I would use authorized.net. I think they're probably the biggest and most well-known. They have a very easy-to-use interface. What else can I say about them? Very good customer service. Every time I've called up, I'm not sitting on hold. I get somebody right away. They answer my questions. They send me a survey afterwards to see if they helped me. They're really good. Of the 3 options eBay, and I should explain one thing to you. There's merchant, if you're going to do a merchant processor, whether for your website, to accept credit cards over the phone, to do a virtual terminal, to put buttons on your website, you need 2 things. And this is kind of complicated to wrap your head around. You need a merchant account and you need a payment gateway. A merchant account is essentially just the bank that clears your stuff. You're not really going to do anything through your merchant account. I don't actually have a login to my merchant account. My login is to authorized.net, which is my gateway. So essentially your gateway is the interface. Your merchant account is essentially the bank or the company who's clearing your payments and things like that. So if I had to dumb this down and kind of compare PayPal to a merchant account, PayPal's a third-party aggregator. It's not a true merchant account, but essentially with PayPal's your merchant account and your gateway all in one. So when you create buttons to put on your website, essentially you're using PayPal's gateway. When you use a virtual terminal, essentially you're using PayPal's gateway. When you search for order history and things like that, essentially you're using PayPal's gateway. And that's what I had a kind of a hard time wrapping my head around, and I think a lot of people do. Why it works that way, I don't know. One thing I will say, if you are going to sign up for a merchant account for eBay, I would suggest going with authorized.net. I mean, it's pretty easy to get all this stuff set up. The one thing I like about authorized.net is authorized.net traditionally, and what they started out as was a gateway. However, now they're a payment processor and a gateway. So basically, if you want, you can have authorized.net be your payment processor and your gateway, and you're just going through one company instead of having to go through, I don't know, like a First Data and tie that to authorized.net, or a Payment Depot and tie that into authorized.net. So I like the idea of using them. I mean, you can use whoever you want, read some reviews and things like that, but if you're new to merchant accounts, it can be a little bit over. It's really simple. Like I said, I should have hooked this stuff up about 3 months ago, and I was kind of intimidated by the process, so I kind of held off. I wish I would have done it sooner because it's really easy, but when you're first getting into it, I had a hard time wrapping my head around what a merchant account is and what a gateway is and how they interact together. But yeah, authorized.net can be both for you. I have 2 separate ones. It's not at all hard to hook up. When it comes time to hook it up to eBay, your merchant account and your gateway are kind of going to be linked together. Your gateway is what you're going to use for everything. Your merchant account is linked into your gateway, so they know where to send the payments. And Basically your gateway is going to give you what's called API codes. I forget what they call them, but the one's going to be like a transaction key and the other one's going to be something else. It's basically going to look like a Bitcoin address or just like some random numbers or symbols or whatever. You're going to copy and paste that and plug it into eBay. The actual eBay function, you're going to go to My eBay, then you're going to go to account settings. Once you go there, you are going to click site options, I believe it is, and then you're going to edit the receive payment from customers tab. It'll ask you credit card, PayPal, Skrill, ProPay, whatever. You're going to click credit card. They're going to ask you for these 2 transaction keys that you get from your gateway. You'll have both browsers open. Copy and paste them in, click submit. eBay claims that you'll start working after this. You'll get a little green checkbox. It'll say it's all hooked up. When I went to to put up listings and put my merchant account in there, it was telling me you must select at least one electronic payment method, and they wanted me to select PayPal or something else. And it wouldn't work for me. So I call up eBay. I'm like, I got all my stuff set up. For some reason, it's not working. What they fail to mention to you, I mean, it's not a huge deal. What they fail to mention is once you set all this stuff up on your own, you actually have to call eBay, and they need to flip some switch on the back end or check that everything's okay. And then once you call up eBay and tell them that you're activating your merchant account, they'll flick some switch on the back end. You'll be good to go, and you can put up your listings. Payments go through right away. The only downside to this is you can't print from you can't print your shipping labels through eBay without having a PayPal account linked up to your eBay account. So if you have a PayPal account and you hate them as a company, maybe use them just to keep some money in there to buy your shipping, because it's just easier to print all your stuff through eBay. However, if you're suspended from PayPal, or if you just despise PayPal and don't want to give them 1 penny of your money, you can just print your labels through stamps.com or USPS.com and then copy and paste the tracking numbers into eBay. I think it's nice doing everything through eBay. So I mean, if your PayPal account's not suspended, even if you're not going to use PayPal to take payments, I would use it to buy shipping, but that's just me. You can do it however you want. And I should add, if you guys have any special requests, questions, anything about how to set all this stuff up, questions about how merchant accounts work, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I love, talking to you guys, answering your questions, helping you out. So, don't hesitate to ask any questions or comments, or if you've had a good experience or bad experience with PayPal or First Data or a merchant account or a gateway or something, feel free to tell me. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy to set up. PayPal, actually, people complain about PayPal, and I get it. PayPal's got some stupid policies and stuff, but I mean, as far as fees, 2.9% plus 30 cents per transaction, it's pretty reasonable. You might be able to get cheaper through a merchant processor, but a lot of times they're going to have a monthly fee and things like that. So depending on the kind of volume you're doing, PayPal, as much as I hate PayPal, as much as people whine about PayPal, as much as I have some issues with PayPal, they really are a pretty good company. I mean, who else is going to give you a virtual terminal, buttons to put on your website, no minimums, no software to buy, no terminals to buy? Yeah, they're a little bit more money than maybe a traditional merchant processor, but a traditional merchant processor may make you buy hundreds of dollars worth of credit card receiving stuff. I mean, I think the days of that are changing with the Square and the all the other stuff coming, into it, QuickBooks scanners and all that. I think the days of merchant processors being able to rake you over the coals on equipment and monthly fees and stuff are kind of coming to an end. But nonetheless, PayPal's been around for a long time, and when all the other merchant processors were making people sign up for expensive monthly plans and making them buy equipment, PayPal lets you do all this. Yeah, their fees may be a little bit higher because they're not charging you all the other stuff. If you're a high volume seller, you can actually get your PayPal fees, I think, down close to 1% or 1.5%. I actually did quite a bit of volume through PayPal. I did well over $2 million last year, and I was at 1.9%. I probably paid PayPal about $70,000, probably over $70,000 in fees and things like that. PayPal's still sitting on, I think, about $68,000 of my money. And actually, I shouldn't say PayPal hasn't banned me for life. They basically said they're not willing to work with one of my businesses. I mean, that's the one saving grace, is if I come up with a different business in the future, I will be able to use PayPal. It's not like they suspended me for life. But they aren't willing to work with my current business. It really kind of threw me under the bus. I was scrambling to find a merchant account. I've been off eBay for about 2 months, finally getting everything set back up. Amazon did a similar thing to me. At this point, I'm just rambling, so I'm going to end the video. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to tell you guys a lot of stuff about merchant accounts, using your merchant account through eBay, all that type of jazz. So any special questions, anything like that, leave them in the comment section below. I'd be happy to get back to you. I do eBay and Amazon consulting. If you're interested in that, you can catch me on Twitter at @RulesForRebels. You can email me at rulesforrebels@gmail.com, and we'll talk to you guys later.